Hi there, welcome to Grain TV. It's Wednesday, February 10th, another mixed day in grains with very little volatility. Let's take a look at the grain edge trading platform and see where we closed. In Chicago, corn was down 3/4 of a cent, beans off 1, and wheat showing some strength, gaining 3 3/4 after yesterday's close lower. News today, we saw some really good exports out of Japan. USDA announced this morning that exporters sold 243,000 metric tons of U.S. corn to Japan. On the negative side of the equation, Russia announced that they would be putting an end to buying U.S. corn and soybeans because of phytosanitary issues. This is not a terribly big deal. The Russian country doesn't really import that much corn or beans, and at this time of year they would mostly be turning to South America anyway. I think mostly it was just sort of a psychological play. In other news, Japan announced the results of their regular wheat tender. The U.S. shared that business of 143,000 metric tons with Canada and Australia. In the past, we've been mostly sharing that business with Canada, so the fact that Australia is in there as well shows wheat in the U.S. continues to be fairly uncompetitive in the world market. Other news out today, Fed Chair Yellen was giving her testimony before the Senate on the state of the U.S. economy. That had some positive implications for the U.S. dollar for at least a short time, as well as U.S. stocks, but overall that news sort of faded. Yellen was cautiously optimistic about jobs growth. She recognized that inflation is low, but she doesn't see that as an overly problematic issue, and she doesn't expect crude oil and the pressure on the energy economy to filter into U.S. job growth. So overall, it was sort of a neutral day in terms of the message from the Fed. Let's take a look at U.S. ethanol numbers that came out from EIA today. Production was up 10,000 barrels per day to 969,000 barrels. But the real negative factor was a continued growth in stocks of ethanol, up another 500,000 barrels, reaching the highest point ever in terms of ethanol stocks at nearly 23 million barrels. In corn, we just continue to sort of grind lower. We are off of the highs that we set about 2 weeks ago. You can see we've been trading substantially lower every day. Coming into today's action, we were sort of around that 360 mark, and we spent most of the day around it. I wouldn't be surprised to see us continue to drift lower, somewhere down to the 350, but there are some positive factors on the horizon. One, we saw this big deal from Japan on corn. That's sort of something we're starting to see a little more of, a little more interest from U.S. corn buying from our foreign customers. The other thing that's working in corn's favor is the big slide that we're seeing in the U.S. dollar. We are off about 4% in the last week, and most pundits believe that the bull market in the U.S. dollar is coming to an end, and we will start to see the U.S. dollar start to fall against foreign currencies. So that, in potential, could be supportive for corn. I'm not going to say it's going to turn this market around, but if we get down to that 350 mark, that could indeed potentially be a stabilizing point. So I'm not sure we're going to see substantially lower prices as we move into spring with the uncertainty of U.S. planting and the falling dollar that could help support our export program. That's all we got for today on Grain TV. If you have any questions, give us a call, 877-472-4607. And as always, visit us online at grainhedge.com.